Coming up on Joy News Prime, 2 persons found dead, 3 others missing in a renewed communal clash in Kojo in the Wa East district of the Upper West region.
Little did we know there were a group of people armed, ready to attack, and they actually attacked us. In the process, the 27 people who went, only 23 returned.
Controversies, disqualifications, and postponement characterizes the just ended vetting of the National Democratic Congress, the NDC. Will bring you update from key regions as the race to the parliamentary elections of the party is slated for May 13. Now, also importers warn of a drastic decline in traffic at the port as they lament that draconian tax measures introduced by government has created an unattractive climate for transacting business. Now, also in this bulletin, Ghana Water Company to come after individuals who default payment or consume their water source illegally as it begins a drastic revenue mobilization drive. We have more as the Electricity Company of Ghana Task Force uncovers the disturbing trend of consumers using fake meters in a bid to evade payment of debt owed the company. Now, fierce internal party competition awaits the NDC as the party prepares to hold its parliamentary elections on May 13. Now, it concluded vetting of parliamentary nominees in many parts of the country on Tuesday, with many still outstanding. Let's start from the Ashanti region, where Nana Ojima reports the Asawase constituency was charged as the incumbent MP Muntaka Mubarak and his contender Masawudu Mubarak went through the vetting process.
There was heavy police deployment in the party office as supporters of the 2 aspirants thronged the vetting center to support their favorites. Both incumbent MP Muntaka Mubarak and his contender Masawud Mubarak sailed through the process. Muntaka Mubarak is confident of retaining the seat.
Well, obviously, how many people get people to support them the way they have been supported? You don't get people to continue supporting you after 2 decades of being a member of parliament. For you to get people to continue supporting you for 2 decades, it means there's something you are doing right. And for me, I only thank Allah for all what He has done for me. And by this support, I know by the grace of God, Allah is not done with me.
But Masawud Mubarak says he will represent the people of Asawase after the 2024 parliamentary election.
What we mean by change is we mean progress for the people of Asawase. Over the 18-year period of the incumbent MP, we haven't had much in terms of human development or progress. So inshallah, when they say change, they mean progress for the people of the constituency. When they say change, they mean an Asawase MP who would be corruption-free.
The 3-day vetting process saw 71 male and 14 females participating, with no candidate being disqualified. 6 constituencies will have unopposed candidates, including the Kumawu constituency seat, which is now vacant following demise of the sitting member of parliament. Kwesi Amankwa will contest the Kumawu by-election. Samuel Abwaje will run in the Obuasi East constituency. Joseph Azuma for Akrofum, Samuel Prempe Jr. for Bekwai, Hamza Swala for Menshan North, and Shamuddin Mohammed Kamel for Old Tafo. Kwesi Amankwa is hopeful his party will capture the Kumawu seat from the NPP.
We were prepared a year ago because we have taken that seat very seriously. We need to take that seat back for NDC. So we've been prepared a year ago, and now we are ready for the battle. Even if we have to go to vote tomorrow, we are ready. And we are 100% sure that we are going to win the seat for NDC.
In the Edra Sechedumase constituency, 4 persons, including the former constituency chairman, are contesting the incumbent MP.
I think it's no news to us as women have been marginalized from the political sphere for years now. And I think that as a people or as a society, it's about time that we create equal opportunities for the both sexes.
2018, I was elected the constituency chairman. I was maintained last year. But looking at the situation on the ground as of now, if I don't come, the constituency may sink.
Verja MP Mohammed Bawa Brahma is confident of winning the contest.
The former chairman is not a new person to me. I beat him in 2015. He came for primaries. I beat him soundly. So for him, I can't say why I'm hearing that. So for him, I'm not surprised. And I know very well that he's somebody who's ambitious. I knew very well that he was somebody who wants to go forward.
The NDC is expected to hold presidential parliamentary primaries on May 13th. For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima, Kumasi.
Let's head to the Northeast region, where leadership of the party have vowed to strictly apply party rules to candidates who run independent after failing at the party's primaries. The NDC has also urged candidates to run a clean campaign devoid of attacks on persons who are also running. Now, speaking to Joy News, the Northeast Regional Secretary of the party, Ibrahim Tia, said 22 aspirants were vetted and approved to contest the parliamentary primaries on the ticket of the NDC in the 6 constituencies in the region. Correspondent Ilya Sutanko has more.
In all, 22 aspirants filed their nominations to contest the party primaries in the 6 constituencies in the region. All 22 aspirants are men without any female representation. In the Walewale constituency, 3 people have filed to challenge the former parliamentary candidate Abdallah Abubakar. 5 persons filed to contest in the Yagaba Kubori constituency. In the Bumpurgu constituency, 3 persons have joined the race against the current member of parliament, Abednego Bandim. 3 persons, including the immediate former parliamentary candidate Bipo Banabu, filed for the party's contest in the Yunyo constituency. The Cherponi constituency recorded 4 aspirants, whilst 1 person filed to challenge the current MP in the Nalergu Gambaga constituency, Alhaji Baba Isifo Seidu. On Tuesday, the 4th of April, all the aspirants were vetted by the committee led by Alhaji Hudu Yahya at the party's office in the regional capital, Nalergu. The vetting process, which started in the morning, ended around 10 p.m. Ibrahim Tia is the party's regional secretary and a member of the vetting committee.
To contest the parliamentary primaries in the Northeast region, 22 filed successfully, and we vetted 22 today, and we have approved all the 22. It's just a few that we have asked them to send us some better particulars for us to just add up. And we are giving some of them up to by the close of Thursday.
According to the regional secretary, the party will apply sanctions against any aspirant who will go independent after losing at the primaries. He further added that the aspirant had been admonished to engage in clean and decent campaigns ahead of the election.
So we've advised all the aspirants, and they've all signed undertaking that if should they win, they will still remain and campaign for the party. And if should they lose, they will still remain and campaign for the party. We've already discussed and nobody has agreed to go on independent.
The NDC in the Northeast region currently has 2 sitting MPs after winning the Bumpurgu and Nalergu constituency and losing the Cherponi, Yunyo and Yagaba Kubori constituencies to the NPP at the last general elections. Perhaps the most difficult constituency for the NDC to win in the region remains the Walewale constituency due to, among other things, the influence of the vice president. Alhaji Mahamudu Baumia, a former Northern Regional Minister, Mr. Abdallah Abubakar, has been the party's candidate in the constituency. This time, he's facing 3 challenges. Speaking to Joy News after his successful vetting, Mr. Abuba said he was confident about winning the election.
I have no doubt whatsoever that I am going to emerge victorious at the end of the day. I bet you may want to follow the process. The 3 other contestants will not be able to garner 30% of the total votes.
Regarding his new strategy to win the election in the constituency in the face of the huge influence of the vice president, Mr. Abuba answered that he had learned a lot of lessons from the previous contest.
2016, I lost the seat by a margin of 2,580 votes when he was a running mate. But this time now, as a sitting vice president, we reduced the deficit and we lost by 1,675 votes. So it tells you that we are learning from what is happening, and we are very hopeful that nothing will stop us from winning the election.
He also addressed the issue of divisions among the party members in the constituency.
So for me, the idea of Walewale and then people are not happy, there's division in the party and all those things. I'm really worried that sometimes the conversation seems to be treating it as if it is a peculiar matter in Walwala. So we are not going to fix our mind on just one or two people who might want to rock the boat. We'll try to get them in. If we fail, we proceed to work with other people.
However, one of the aspirants described as his closest contender, Saibu Hamisu, on his part disagrees with the assertion that the vice president has been the main reason why the NDC is unable to win the parliamentary elections in the Wale Wale constituency. He said he was the only one to win back the seat for the NDC.
We are not going to undermine the presence of the vice president. That is going to be detrimental into going into the 2024 elections. We will always consider the vice president. That is if he even gets the nod to lead the MPP. Unfortunately for me, I'm somebody who has a seed in every part of the constituency. Of course. My family is so huge that there's nobody. There's nowhere that you go into the Walwala constituency that you will not hear my family, and that is the factor that we are going to. Even if the vice president becomes a presidential candidate, and even the parliamentary candidate, we are going to defeat him in that.
Ilyas Sutanko reporting from Nalergo for Joy News.
Let's bring in the party's Deputy General Secretary, Mustafa Bande, here to have some briefs on what has happened so far. Mustafa, I'm grateful that you could join us here via Zoom. Now, let's start off from the Greater Accra region, because we understand in the Ayawaso West Ogun constituency, 3 of the candidates whose vetting were supposed to have come off on Tuesday has been postponed indefinitely. What is happening?
Thank you very much, my brother. I think that the processes so far generally has been very calm. In the case of Ayawaso West Wagon, it falls within the authority and the power vested in the vetting committee to carry out their mandate. If for any reason, either political, administrative, they cannot carry out that mandate, it is within their power to reschedule such a vetting. Don't also forget that all of these activities find itself within the strategy of the party to ensure that we increase our seats in parliament and to come to power 2024. So all our decisions comes out of political, strategic, and administrative considerations. And so this is one of the reasons why you will find out that Ayawaso West Wagon has been held indefinitely, because it stands as one of the very strategic seats of parliament that NDC would want to recapture come 2024. And so we are doing everything possible to ensure that by the time we finish with our internal processes and to have settled on a parliamentary candidate, we are halfway sure that we can win back the seat to NDC.
We understand there is an investigation which is currently underway to attend to, you know, some of these challenges that have been brought up against some of the candidates. Do we exactly know what these challenges are?
As of yet, we deployed teams to the various regions. So even though Greater Accra happens to be the seat of the party headquarters, we are currently waiting for the various regional vetting committee chairmen to compile a report. And that report will state clear reasons why one decision or the other was taken at the vetting. But I believe that it is within the power of a vetting committee to reschedule a vetting, to do investigations that pertain to qualification or disqualification of a particular candidate.
Please join with audio.
That we are clear with what the way for, because you wouldn't want to have a parliamentary candidate who may have gone through NDC primaries, and then when you finish, issues are coming up that borders on the ability of the electoral commissioner or the electoral commission of Ghana to get such a person, a member of parliament or a candidate on the ticket. So it is important that we do this thorough work to make sure that by the time we are done, clearly all issues are dealt with.
Okay. Now, what measures has the party putting in place to address some of these acrimonious engagement that will be coming up to ensure that you are still able to meet your May 13 deadline to conduct these primaries?
Yeah, so apart from the vetting committees put in place across the country, we also have an appeals committee, which adds 2 more national executives to review various appeals that may arise from a particular vetting or a particular region. And so there are other issues by virtue of Section 4A of our Regulation 2023. Those issues are addressable by the Functional Executive Committee. So all those issues will be coming next week after the festive. We'll review those matters, resolve them, and make sure that we fall within the timelines that we've put out. So far, so good. We are not late. Every process we have put in place is going out smoothly, and we have experienced a very peaceful vetting across the country.
Okay. Mustafa, I'm grateful to you for joining us. He is Deputy Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. Now, let's move on and talk about business, because we understand that the port, Ghana's port are struggling to attract business. The traders tell us that it is because of the unattractiveness of the port due to the high tax regime in the country. Now, traders are warning of dire consequences if the government doesn't move in time to resolve this. Samson Awingobet of the Importers and Exporters Chamber has been telling us of the dire impact that it will have on businesses in the country.
Speak with you now. People are paying over 270 to get to clear one container at the port. So that has caused fear and panic, and that has made our port become very expensive, coupled with the shipping lines local handling charges as well, madam. So these are all the factors that is making importers not. And so if you look at 2022, around July, August, September, you realize that the cedi depreciation went very badly. So it affected people who had matured to pay their suppliers. And now they had bargained with their suppliers to say, okay, in my country, I will pay before July, August, I will pay my LC will mature, letter of credit will mature. The payment would have, I was earmarking myself to say maybe cedi would have rose to, let's say, 8 cedis to $1 or 10 cedis. Now, little do we know that the cedi would get went to like 14.5%. So it affected many people. So beginning of this year, January, February, March this year, many people have not even brought any cargo to this country.
Okay.
And the fuel that brought the cargo to, we've seen the duties shot up. And so there's fears. What is happening is that there's cargo in the goods in the market, but you and I cannot ascertain as to where the goods are coming from. These goods, we said cargo, from where I said, we told Gapor that the cargo has moved to Togo and Ivory Coast. They too said that when they cross-checked with Togo port, they realized that there's no any increase in cargo saying that I've cleared a container at Lome Port, I'm bringing it to Ghana. They're not indicating their books.
Okay.
However, what we saw is that many people have gone there to put up warehousing. So they will clear the cargo there, they'll go and stock it in their warehouse. So by Togo books, it's goods meant to consume in Togo.
Yeah.
Then they now find ways and means to bring those goods into the country.
Ghana.
So what is happening is that government will not get the needed taxes at the port. You can only get income tax, VAT.
Yeah.
So what it means is that it will affect the final analysis of government revenue. It has never happened that you see the government, not only this government, introduce a tax component, then you have all the institutions saying it's a non-starter.
Yeah.
That is what is happening. So we are going to sign, we are yet to petition the president. I think this week, I've seen the final write-up last night. All of us are going to sign. Then we'll petition through the Minister of Trade. I think today or tomorrow we'll send the petition to the president, because we think that the Minister of Trade is our minister. He must intervene in this regard. So that petition, my signature will be there, and the rest of my colleagues' signature will be there. So we intend to convince His Excellency the President that, look, can we have a conversation? Because prior to your minister sending this bill to Parliament, there was any engagement. It has never happened that AGI is also saying that red flag. National Chamber of Commerce, you don't hear of this.
Yeah, for AGI they were consulted, but they say their input was not taken, and so they are agitated.
So what is the consultation for?
So let's see how it goes.
It should be a win-win situation.
Samson Asaki Awingobet is the Executive Secretary for the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana. Speaking there to my colleague Aisha Ibrahim. Now, we understand a meeting has already been conveyed between the Port and Harbours Authority and traders. Let's bring in the General Secretary of the Traders Advocate Group Ghana, Nana Poku. Nana, we understand this meeting was attended by you traders and the Port and Harbours Authority and other stakeholders. What was the outcome? Nana, kindly unmute so we can follow what you're telling us.
Sorry for the hiccup.
That's fine.
Let me extend my warm greetings to your charitable listeners. A meeting was conveyed, but at the end of the day, it did not realize anything. All because the traders who are supposed to bring in their wares are completely folded up. And for this situation most traders are facing, how would we want to see the container thieves go up? It will definitely drop. I just heard Mr. Asake Awingobet. I was at Adom with him in the morning whilst he joined you over there. Whatever that he's saying is a fact, because we sent a fact-finding team to Tema and also assessing views from the traders from the market, especially the importers. You could see that the current situation in the country has actually folded them up. Most of them have depleted their capitals, and there is no way that they can bring in wares to sell. That is the current situation that is fueling the situation at Tema Port.
It can have a dark consequence if this is allowed to persist. What do you propose must be done to ensure that we're able to reverse this trend so the port can be attractive again?
You see, this current administration, I heard Mr. Awingobet saying a lot of things. They have taken a position not to listen to anybody because they really want to polish the nation before IMF to get whatever that they want to get. For that matter, no amount of petition can convince this president. He is bent just to, in his view, he is thinking that whatever that he's doing is saving Ghana.
So what do you think must happen?
Like, what do I think? The traders need to be replenished by giving loans, soft loans. But now, if I tell you that the traders can get loans from the bank, it's a lie.
Okay. All right.
The bank themselves have actually invested and are in trouble because of this financial arrangement from the Ministry of Finance.
Nana Poko, I'm grateful to you for joining us. He is Executive Secretary for the Traders Advocate Group, Ghana. Now, moving on. If you owe the Ghana Water Company Limited, then expect a surprise visit because the company is taking its revenue mobilization drive to private homes. Now, the exercise, which started on Tuesday, aims to recover over 800 million cedis in unpaid bills. Managing Director of the company, Dr. Clifford Brymer, tells Joy News the financial strength of the utility company is in tatters since people have refused to pay, hence the intensification of revenue mobilization exercise.
This has been one of the major national exercises by the Ghana Water Company Limited to retrieve 680 million Ghana cedis owned by its customers. The team took to the Nungwa district to recover a debt of 4.7 million Ghana cedis. Printers, Walker Building System, U-Fresh Company and Kata Company Limited were the major defaulters. Out of the four, Beverage Factory U-Fresh Company Limited was disconnected over non-payments of bills worth 163,000 Ghana cedis. Managing Director for Ghana Water Company, Dr. Clifford Brymer, cautioned staff not to spare any defaulters.
We should not be thinking for the customer. Let the customer think for themselves. Some of them will say that because there's no flow in our pipes, we are not going to pay. We are not a prepaid company. We are a postpaid. Going to collect your bills means that some water has been consumed. And whatever water that has been consumed, there was chemical use, electricity use, and they need to be paid for. And so somebody cannot say that because he's not going to get water tomorrow, he's not going to pay for what he spent yesterday. I don't think there's logic in it. And we must not give the customers that opportunity to use that as a basis not to pay. Once your meter reads, it means that you have consumed. And we are asking for what you have consumed, but not what you are yet to consume. And so when we get to you, don't tell us, oh, we don't get regular flow. Yes, we know we don't get regular flow, but your meter has read. It means that some water has passed there. And we use chemical, we use electricity to produce that water. So let's go out strong enough and retrieve the money. And at the end of it, the company becomes good. Ghanaians who are even resistant to pay will pay because we improve our services. Without that money, we cannot improve our services at all. We have chemical suppliers to pay. We have electricity to pay. We have our pipe suppliers to pay. We have valve suppliers to pay.
So how much has been realized from this particular exercise? Stanley Mate, who is the public relations manager of the company, joins us on Zoom now. Grateful that you could join us. Since the exercise started, how much has been realized from it?
Okay, I can say that we have done some good job, but it's early days yet for me to mention any figure. What happens is that we are doing it at the district level. Every district will collect its data and then submit it to the regional office, and then the regional office will forward to the head office. And some are paying via Momo, some are paying through the customer app. So we need to put all the figures together before we can mention any figure. Okay. But everything is going on well. Our customers are paying. And so at the end of the day, I'm sure.
We understood that some were owing 4 million cedis and all of that. What are some of these notable institutions that are trying to settle you so that they can still have you supply them water?
I think the obvious one that has been in the news is Springtex. I mean, and they have paid 50% of the amount. They have promised that next week they are going to pay the difference. So we are comfortable. I also have to say that UFresh paid some amount today, and they promised to finish paying next week. Then we can reconnect to them.
How much did they pay?
So far, they've paid 70,000 cedis, and then it's left with about some 90,000 cedis. So our expectation is that they're going to fulfill their promise by paying next week. Then we can have them reconnected. So they are paying. I mean, if we disconnect you and we leave your premises, we'll only take the full amount before you are reconnected. So everybody listening to my voice now should know that if you don't pay your bills with the Ghana Water Company Limited and we come to your premises to disconnect you, you have to pay your bills in full before we can have you reconnected.
Okay. Grateful to you, Stanley Martin, for joining us. So that's a warning to consumers of water that pay your bills to avoid being disconnected. Now, from water, let's talk about electricity, because ECG Task Force has uncovered a disturbing trend of consumers who are using fake meters in a bid to evade the payment of debt owed the utility company. A 54-year-old electrician believed to be the mastermind behind such installation has been apprehended by the police. This comes at a time when the company is on an aggressive revenue collection drive across the country. Ohiming Terry of our security desk has more in the following report.
The ECG Revenue Protection Task Force has been ruthless with customers who owe the power company in electricity bills and engaged in illegal connections. Out of the 5.7 billion Ghana cedis owed by electricity consumers nationwide, the Ashanti region accounts for 1.2 billion Ghana cedis, representing 21% of debt owed. The task force, whilst on operation, detected some fake meters installed by the suspect at Kunsu and its environs. Owners alleged John Fofi supplied the meters. Further investigations led to the arrest of the suspect in his hideout, where the police retrieved 8 fake meters. Engineer Kofi Danso is the Ashanti Regional Revenue Protection Manager.
A team from the Ashanti SBU headquarters that went to Kunsu in line with the revenue mobilization exercise. Then we chanced upon a customer who has abandoned the official ECG recognized meter and have installed these unauthorized or fake meters because there's debt in the original ECG meter. We intended to arrest him directly, but then he led us to the corporate who came to install the meter for him. So yesterday, the culprit was arrested, sent to the Buakwa police station, and then we went with the culprit to his house, and we found additional meters together with our moratorium. If you all remember, ECGMD gave a moratorium that all people who have this unauthorized or meters that are unknown to ECG come forward, then let ECG help you regularize it. That exercise expired in December. Unfortunately, unscrupulous people have made duplicates of our moratorium notice, and they keep installing these fake meters for customers, and then when they install it, they give you that moratorium, indicating that as if it's ECG who has authorized them to do that.
According to Engineer Danso, the task force will leave no stone unturned in its quest to block all revenue leakages, including dealing with illegal connections and fake meters.
Let's bring in the External Affairs Communication Manager of the ECG, Leila Abubakar. Leila, I'm grateful that you could join us here. Now, what more have you gathered as to where these meters are being gotten from?
Thank you very much, Sam. It's a very dicey subject that you have brought up, because at ECG we know that we have issues with our meters in terms of supply, not the quality of the meters, but just with supply. For that reason, the gap that is created, there are a lot of people festering in there and doing all sorts, like this gentleman who was apprehended yesterday in the Ashanti region. We are trying to resolve this matter. Management has sat down and they have come up with a loss reduction project, which I have tried very much to not speak about yet. But I think because of the number of issues that are arising with regards to meters, I would have to say a bit about it. We are rolling out a new program for meters. We have come to the realization that it's one of the weakest links in our business. And so in terms of rectifying it, we are now intensifying the local content aspect, which means that we're going to rely on a local companies or companies that reside in Ghana to supply the meters to us, either through assembling or manufacturing right here. And then these companies would be the ones to install, clear our backlog of meters that have been requested from customers for several months, and then look at new customers, and then also replace some of the faulty meters. And so we hope that in the next few months, the following regions, aside from Accra, would also get the same service. Right now, we are piloting in 3 regions, and it's going quite well.
Okay.
With regards to fake meters, it's one of the issues that we're dealing with. People come into the system with meters that are not recognized or haven't been approved by ECG, and they install them in houses and in companies and other. When we find these out, we simply arrest, just as the Ashanti region has done. There's very little we can do when we find out, because that is a crime, and usually the police is brought in immediately.
Okay.
So yes, we're
Leila,
just
how
trying our best to sort.
widespread is this? Is it only peculiar to Ashanti, or it's one that?
No. It's not only Ashanti region. Unfortunately, it's spread across. Because we cover quite a large amount of people in Ghana. It's something that we are really struggling with as a company, but we've now found a solution. So I guess that with this program that we're doing, and with having more hands on it, because usually it would just be the normal revenue mobilization team out there trying to find out who is doing what and paying bills and all that. But now we have the entire ECG staff out on there, so they are finding more. And that's the reason why this is coming out now.
Okay.
So we are just trying to speed up with the new projects that we've just started now, which is a loss reduction project. Alpha T&D has begun in 3 districts in Accra, and it will be expanding to other regions very soon.
Okay, grateful, Leila, for joining us here. Now, still to come here in the bulletin, we'll be live in the Upper West region to understand what is the latest update on the deployment of some 1,000 special forces to help beef up security in that area.
There were a group of people armed, ready to attack, and they actually attacked us. In the process, the 27 people who went, only 23 returned.
All right, so welcome back from the break. Now let's take you to the Upper West region, where 2 persons have now been found dead with 3 others still missing following a communal clash at Kojo in the Wa East district of the Upper West region. Now, we understand the clashes occurred between some members of the Samuni clan and over 300 armed men from the Kojo and other adjoining communities. Now, the dead bodies were found in semi-decomposed state with several machete wounds in shallow graves. Now, Joy News' Upper West regional correspondent Rafik Salam reports that no arrest has so far been made by the police, though investigations have begun into the matter.
According to spokesperson of the Samune clan, Alhaji Abubakar Sufyan, occurred last Sunday when they sent 27 young men to their kraal at the Bise enclave in the Wa East district to inspect their cattle and also cede portions of their lands to persons who wish to go into farming this season. They were allegedly attacked by over 300 men, resulting in 2 deaths and 3 persons missing.
Little did we know there were a group of people armed, ready to attack, and they actually attacked us. In the process, the 27 people who went, only 23 returned. So we have been trying to locate the others. Only yesterday we managed to locate 2 dead bodies, semi-decomposed. But we are still going today to launch another search, whether we will get the other 2. That is, and then to see how we can bury the decomposed or semi-decomposed bodies of the 2 that were found yesterday.
And so that means that there was some kind of a disagreement over the lands?
Sure. There are people we know people from Sankana who are settled at Gudayiri. Originally they came from Sankana to settle there. And over the years they have now tend to call themselves the landowners.
The 2 semi-decomposed bodies has been identified as Baba Inusa, alias Dragon, and Seydou Salifu. Alhaji Sufyan suspected that the deadly and cowardly act may have been committed by settler communities around Gudayiri.
They were gathered from principally Gudayiri and all the surrounding villages that are settlers but now want to be landowners, including Bayiri, Yaro, in so many other places that for now, for some special reasons, we have to lie low with some of the names.
He acknowledged the support given to them by the police, but will want them to be more professional and unbiased in the discharge of their duties.
There's a biased view that VC now send people to go and attack some people. That is a very biased view, and we don't know the source of it, and that is what is circulating. And that seems to be the basis of action of some of the people. But I don't know whether their view has since changed, because they have been to the site. They have been to the crime scene, and they have seen the magnitude of the problem. And I wonder if somebody will send 27 people to go and face 350 well-armed men. I don't know the circumstances under which somebody will send 27 people to go and face a whole army of 350 well-armed people.
So you are seeking for justice?
Sure. And we will push for justice until justice is done.
Since the incident happened last Sunday, no arrest has so far been made by the police. our information that we are pulling on indicates that 6 or 7 cartridges were retrieved from the scene of the incident. The police for now says they have been able to bring the situation under control. Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam. Wow.
So from Wa, let's take you to Boko, because we understand that it's now emerging that over 20 bullets were shot into a vehicle carrying the immigration officers. Now, 3 immigration officers, Assistant Inspectors Afari, Eric Aidia, and Philip Morte were in a private vehicle on their way to get food. Now, the 3 were rushed to the Boko Presbyterian Hospital, but Philip Morte, 42, did not survive. Meanwhile, the Assistant Inspectors Afari and Aidia are currently battling for their lives at the Boko Presbyterian Hospital and the Tamale Teaching Hospital. The Controller General of the Ghana Immigration Service, Kwame Techi, today paid a visit to the family of the deceased officer here in Accra and expresses disgust at what happened. Let's get more details on what's happening in Boko and speak to our correspondent there, Albert, who joins us with some update. Albert, we understand government has sent some 1,000 special forces to the area to beef up security there. What happened? What more can you tell us?
Yes, so at the moment, we cannot see any visible signs of the security beef up. What we know is that there are still men stationed in Boko, but what we are seeing today is what has always been there. We can't see any visible signs of 1,000 more security personnel arriving in the town at the moment. What the regional minister told us earlier today was that 200 of these men should be coming into the town any moment from now. They are preparing places where they will stay for them at Bazua, and then later the remaining will arrive. But at the moment, we've checked with our sources in Boko throughout the whole of today, and what I can report is that there aren't any visible signs yet of these men arriving in the town.
What about the general, security situation of the area? In just 30 seconds, Albert.
Well, it has always been people are uneasy because the last time we had very serious shooting and killing of people was in the month of February. The month of March was relatively calm. We didn't have so much disturbances, only for this to be returning in the month of April. And so people feel that, they are not sure when all these disturbances and the killing of people will go away. Yesterday afternoon, there were reports of a man who was shot in neighboring Binduri, and people suspect that it is still related to the recent tensions that have been brewing, the tensions which also may have resulted in the shooting of these immigration personnel. So most people are going about their normal everyday activities, but they are doing it with an easy calm because they are afraid that at any time shootings can occur. And nobody knows who's
all right, Albert. I'm grateful to you for the update that you just brought us here. You're still watching Joy News Prime. Showbiz is up next. Stay with us.